The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
A river filled with cranky predators. This is the only source of deep water for miles. Severe drought has forced migration to this river, concentrating local predators with complete strangers. The wildlife here is on edge.
Did you see him? Oh my God.
Water means both survival and death. It is a threat that binds them, and it's a reason I'm here. I am Manny Puig. I have spent my whole life learning to survive like Tarzan in the most dangerous and primitive wilderness, where you can be killed or eaten. I have learned the ways of giant, man-eating predators, deadly sharks and reptiles, where every encounter may spell disaster in the savage wild. Surrounded by water, in the middle of the worst drought that Florida has seen in years. This river is like a magnet for life and death struggles. And my crew and I are here to bear witness. Welcome to the jungle, my version of paradise. This year, paradise is in trouble. There's been a severe drought, and the availability of water affects all the wildlife. When water is abundant, the wildlife is spread out. Actually, it's a hard time to find wildlife because the entire Florida is underwater and alligators are scattered, everything is spread out. But as the water dries up, and especially in severe drought, all the wildlife will concentrate and move to the remaining water spots. In certain areas, you may have a little pond for miles and miles around, and every fish, every bird, every alligator, every deer has got to come there. Actually, it's a time when alligators fatten up because whatever alligator is in there, it's got an unlimited food supply. Now, in other areas, it gets so dry that they actually can die. An alligator may move up to 30 miles to find a water hole. The remaining rivers and lakes and all that, they have plenty of water. That's where a lot of the wildlife will be concentrated in. There's massive migrations. You have alligators that live in little ponds way out in the middle of nowhere. They have never seen a man before. No one has ever seen them before. They could be gigantic monsters. Incredible behaviors. It could be man-eaters. We do not even know. They show up at different places. They may pop up in your backyard, in any river. This massive movement out here, there's no telling what's going to happen out here. Keep in mind, there's a local alligator population, but now there are other alligators, strangers, that have come from way back in the woods where the water's dried up, and they come here looking for water. So deep in the Florida forest, there's no telling how many alligators are hiding out there. They got little tiny holes, little tiny ponds. There could be a 14-foot alligator living in it year after year. And when it's a severe drought, that'll bring them out of there into major rivers and major lakes. When wildlife is concentrated in an area, what do you have? Competition. Competition for food. What that means is more violent behavior, more likely for humans to be attacked if he enters the environment.
I've been coming up this river for about 20 years now, and never seen the drought as bad as it is. The water as low as it is now, and the concentration of alligators is about as high as I've ever seen. And I see a lot of new animals, a lot of bigger gators that I haven't seen before, which kind of makes me nervous because they can be quite dangerous.
We've been here in this river many times, but now the water's low. The alligator concentration, according to Shad, is very high. So entering this river now could be extremely dangerous. You may have alligators here who have never been in contact with humans. You don't know who they are or what their intentions are. My idea of the man-eater sometimes is an alligator you never see. He's very elusive. The fed alligator is a nuisance alligator that follows you around and is a nuisance. The man-eater, you don't even see him. He comes like a ghost, like lightning out of nowhere, and grabs you. Al Roberts, our most seasoned guide, spots an 8-foot alligator sunning himself on the riverbank. We got the 7 to 8 foot alligator over there, very healthy. Northern gators. Apart from eating good, they're genetically stronger. They're built like Sherman tanks. I mean, they're tough. We're just gonna get in. I'm gonna go in here with Quete and just see what he does. I'm gonna approach him and see how shy he is and check out his personality. Some alligators, you just even blink at him at a mile away and he's underwater. Other alligators, you get right up on him, they're still there looking at you. You never know what he's gonna do. Alligators, in my opinion, 100% unpredictable. With the steady drone of insects filling our ears, we gear up for the first encounter. Is this alligator a local resident, or did the drought drive him to this river for survival? Surrounded by water, you would not think the predators in this river are affected by the severe drought Florida is experiencing. But two things happen during a drought. Predators and prey concentrate in smaller areas. The wildlife here can be ill-tempered. And the competition for food and survival becomes intense. Across this primitive river, a large alligator has hauled out to sun himself. And we are gearing up for an approach. Yeah, people wonder how I go into the water and don't get attacked by alligators and how I can do this. I have been attacked by alligators a bunch of times. I understand alligators. I don't act like food and they do attack me. I know how to defend myself against an attacking alligator. Usually I'll go underneath and levitate the alligator's head. I mean, don't try this at home, you know what I mean? I'm not telling you to go out and get attacked, but I know how to keep myself from being attacked. The one time I got bit, I got attacked from behind. I didn't see the alligator coming. He surprised me. Most of the times, like always, I've been able to stop a lot of attacking alligators. Now, the majority of the alligators will give you right away, but you have no idea what an alligator is going to do. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know him. He's not my pet or anything. I've never seen him before. He can run, he can hide, he can attack. I've seen him run out of the water onto land to get away. Anything other than just sit there and look at you. I've had him push up against me. I've been swimming around, all of a sudden there's an alligator up against me. I've had him push me underwater. Everything you can imagine that an alligator can do beyond your wildest dreams, an alligator can do. And he has the capability of jumping up this high out of the water. I mean, there's so many things he can do. And, you know, I go there with caution. I don't never run from an alligator. Don't ever run from an alligator. You know, don't act like prey. If I start running here like a panicked dog like that, next thing you know, an alligator's gonna grab me. You want to act like a predator out here, and you want to respect you. You don't want to act like food. As I make my way across the river, I will need to take a deep breath and swim underwater so the alligator doesn't spook. But I know he is watching my every move. As I close in, the alligator suddenly explodes into the water, thrashing violently as he makes his getaway. I leave the cloud of silt and follow him. Years of experience have taught me that he has not gone far. There he is, lying on the bottom. His head is so wide he looks like a toad. As I move in to lift him, he backs away and takes off again. I wonder if the drought is making all the alligators in this river even more cautious. We follow the alligator as he moves through the underwater jungle of weeds and branches that line the shore of this river. You can see how easy a large predator can attack without being seen, and then just disappear. People ask me, why do I swim with alligators? Why do I interact with alligators? Every time I get in with an alligator, I learn something. I've learned things about alligators that no one knew. I broke ground in their world of behavior. Also, I really enjoy interacting with alligators. It's an adventure. This is a learning process and high adventure. It doesn't get any higher adventure than getting in the water with a formidable alligator, you know, a magnificent dinosaur. I'm swimming with them. That is, you know, an incredible adventure. I really enjoy that. You know, I'd rather be doing that than sitting around doing nothing. I mean, that is what I like to do. This Florida river seems like an underwater paradise, but looks can be misleading. A severe drought is concentrating both predators and prey, and the struggle for survival is very real. The local top predators have visitors that may have traveled miles to get here, and getting along is not a priority. Okay, right here there's a crack in that log, and there's a big old snake in there. I can barely see him. I know it's a snake. It's a water snake. I don't know if it's a cottonmouth, which are plenty out here, or a big brown water snake. So I'm gonna look first, reach in there and see if I can grab it. Well, there's one big one right here. I'm gonna bite. I got a wetsuit on, so I'm not too worried about it. Look at that. Water snake's gonna be very, very angry. Look at that. Beautiful snake. Wow. Easy does it. Let me get him up to the lens. Right there. Wow. Look how fat he is. Or she is. Beautiful brown water snake. Actually, the cottonmouth water moccasins eat them. I was very lucky to find it in this crack right here. So I was able to pick it up and look at it. Most people, every snake they see in the water, near the water, it's a cottonmouth, right off the bat. But if you do pick one up thinking it's a water snake, you better know your snakes. You pick up a cottonmouth. See how vicious this guy was? A cottonmouth's a lot more vicious. Now, the one thing is that these are very aquatic. The cottonmouth floats. The brown water snake and the other water snakes dive underwater very quickly. And if you look at the head, you see the round eye and the nostrils? Right there, the cottonmouth is a hole between the nostrils and the eye, which makes him a pit viper, just like the rattlesnake. Now, this guy's got a round, perfectly round eye. The cottonmouth has a lid over the eye that gives the eye not so round of a look. It makes the snake look mean. The brown water snake can flatten his head out, but the cottonmouth has got a bulkier head, very wide. Through here, it's like this wide. It's massive. Well, this snake, see, it can flatten out like that. It'll flatten his head to make himself look like a water moccasin sometimes, giving a triangular head. But look at right now, it's not very triangular. It's relaxed. But the cottonmouth cannot do that. The head is thick right here all the time. And he's got a mustache, too, on him. Now the coloration, yeah, it can be very, very similar. Cottonmouth can be black, or you can have bands on him. You know, very similar. The skin is very identical to this guy, too. Very similar skin looking. So, and they live in the same environment. So you just gotta pay attention. Yeah, the water moccasin is more buoyant than a water snake. Its body naturally floats more, and it's more of a surface swimmer. Well, the water snake, immediately, the only thing that sticks out of the water, it's his head. The water snake will only stick his head out like this and dive under real quick. While the water moccasin will tend to swim and float on the surface, just like a rattlesnake would, or another pit viper. So it can dive under, but that is not as normal. It's too buoyant, actually. It has to force itself underwater. Well, this snake automatically disappears underwater. Okay, now watch how quick this brown water snake disappears in the water. Show you how aquatic this animal is. Notice the minute he hit the water, he dove under and went into cover, but he dove down deep. Instead of coming up and floating on the surface, if it would have been a cottonmouth, it would have took off on the surface like that. We continue to move upriver. We're seeing an abundance of wildlife and a higher than usual concentration of alligators brought together by the severe drought. There was another huge alligator there. You know, we're finding alligators again, I mean, all over the place. 6 footers, 8 footers. I haven't seen anything like 12 feet yet, but there's a lot of the 6 to 8 foot alligators, a lot of them out here. This one just exploded. He went under there. He may be laying right there, or he might have disappeared somewhere in this immense area. I'm gonna go down and investigate, see if I can find him, because it looked like a really nice alligator, about 8 foot. I'm gonna see if I can find him. As I approach the pad where we last saw the alligator, the water becomes dark and forbidding. It is also deeper here. I will need a flashlight to penetrate the darkness beneath this heavy mat. I am startled to see the alligator. A 10-foot long tank, lying motionless on the bottom. This is a deadly animal. I am not sure how to approach him without endangering myself and my cameraman. The ideal situation if he comes out this way. I decide to get directly over him and guide him out by the shoulders. What a beautiful animal! I follow to make sure I don't lose him. He is sitting on the bottom again, and he motions towards me as if to say, "Back off, buddy." I will need to treat this alligator with the utmost respect. I wonder if he's here all year long, or wandered in from the deep forest.
He's right there. This time I'm gonna try to go underneath him. I grabbed I got on his back, I turned him out like I intended and rode him right towards Cohete, and I tried to go up with him and he dove down. But I was literally riding him out like a horse out of that spot.
But that's very dangerous. You could swim back on me. Motionless as I lift him. But then he takes me on a ride I will never forget. This alligator is built like a rhino, and is much larger than I first thought. What an encounter.
Man, I did everything, man. I went this way, I thought I lost him. Took off this way, took off that way, took that way. And finally, I was just breaking the surface with him. And I couldn't take him. He stopped. I thought he was going to try to bite, and he was swinging this way, this way. It was a long, long ways up, man. It's very deep right here. It was a major struggle. He is so fat, so healthy, man. What a perfect, perfect alligator. Wow. Man, it was incredible. I got it. First of all, it was very difficult. I thought it never happened. I went down here, I took him like this, I turned him around, aimed him out of the place, I rode him out of there, rode him right out of there, and then afterwards, I lost him, and then Quentin found him. Quentin found him again. It was in a deep, deep spot down there. I grabbed him, I came up with the alligator, all the way to the surface. He stopped, took off again, stopped, and I was like, I gotta get him up, and I was struggling everything I had. I thought he was gonna go this way, switching hands. Finally, I think his nose broke the surface again, right there, and that was it. You know, and he disappeared. But the alligator was like, he looked like he was on steroids. I mean, fat, healthy alligator, wide-faced, beautiful, man. Man, we don't get them like this in South Florida. Look at this heavy rain. You know, this is the heaviest rain I've seen since the dry season. The water's going to be rising everywhere. The alligator's going to scatter, the fish, the wildlife, everything is going to be rearranged, let's put it this way. Whether it's pouring rain or bone dry, this is a savage wild and I love it.
The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
The Osceola River, wild and beautiful. It flows into the Gulf of Mexico and is home to a crazy mixture of wildlife. Freshwater and saltwater fish thrive here, as well as large predators. Every river has its own unique population of alligators. And with every encounter, I learned something new. I am Manny Puig. I have spent my whole life learning to survive like Tarzan in the most dangerous and primitive wilderness, where you can be killed or eaten. I have learned the ways of giant man-eating predators, deadly sharks and reptiles, where every encounter may spell disaster in the savage wild. This is the Osceola River, one of the wildest rivers in Florida. It empties into the Gulf of Mexico and extremely affected by the tides. And because of that, the wildlife in here is incredible. It's full of saltwater fish in here, freshwater fish. You have sharks, you have alligators, you have all kinds of freshwater and saltwater species.
The Osceola is one of those rivers that for a diver can be pretty intimidating. It's one of my favorite places to dive, but if you're not careful, you can find yourself in a cave that you didn't know was there. The bottom of this river is full of karst formations, these limestone formations that have been hollowed out over thousands of years. And in these formations, sometimes you find big fish, sometimes you find giant alligators. You never know what's going to be waiting for you on the bottom. So as soon as you leave the boat, you hope for the best, but you never know what you're going to expect. Another thing that's awesome about this river is its wildlife on the banks. You're constantly seeing wild boar, you're constantly seeing big rattlesnakes, birds of prey like ospreys and eagles, owls, red-shouldered hawks. This is one of those places where as soon as you're here, you feel like you've gone back in time. It's old Florida the way it used to be, and it still has it.
The air temperature is 47 degrees and the water is about 70, but I'm not really a cold weather type of individual. I like it medium.
Can you make sure that my flap?
Sure will.
Is the flap right?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody thinks Florida is hot and humid, but in the winter, it gets really cold here. It gets freezing, and it's got that humid cold that goes right into your bones. Another thing is, the alligator, people understand they can handle a lot of cold weather, not like the crocodile. Crocodile cannot stand this weather, but the alligator is hardy. He's thriving in this temperature right now.
Everything is cold. My gloves are cold. My wetsuit is cold.
This is a lot of fun, but right now, this feels like hard work. Putting on this cold, miserable wetsuit doesn't feel good. This is the kind of day, I could stay in bed all day, As we continue downriver, I keep an eye on the shoreline for any sign of wildlife. And it isn't long before I spot an alligator. He ducks under as we approach. This will be my first encounter with an Alsilla River alligator. It seems like each location has a population of alligators with certain personality traits. And I wonder if these alligators will be aggressive or shy. And there's only one way to find out. The water is cold and murky. Usually an alligator will not travel far from where you spot them. They are often just sitting on the bottom waiting. But I see no sign of this alligator, so I keep moving. And then I spot something very exciting to me. This is exactly what makes this river so fascinating. A saltwater fish species perfectly happy miles from the ocean.
Those are juvenile mangrove snapper. This fish belongs way out in the Gulf, and they're in here way up into the freshwater. That's a juvenile mangrove snapper. It's incredible.
We continue our search for the alligator. I am exploring a fascinating and strange ecosystem, Florida's Alsilla River. It empties directly into the Gulf of Mexico. So it's not only affected by the tides, it is also home to fish and other species that are found miles at sea and on the deep reefs. There is also a healthy population of alligators here, and I wonder how this mix of salt and freshwater affects them. Are they more dangerous? We continue our search for an alligator that dove under near the bank. Visibility is very low, so I will not see the alligator until I am only a few feet away. And these conditions are always dangerous. It makes you wonder if you are the one being stalked. find an alligator. Not the one we're looking for. This one is much smaller, just over 2 feet long, but very healthy. Yeah, we've seen the first alligator of the day underwater. It's about this big. Nice little guy just sitting right there, motionless. He's getting video on it right now. So far I've seen little mangrove snapper, juvenile largemouth bass, one baby alligator, and some mullet. That's all I've seen so far. So we're gonna go try another area right now. Maybe when the tide's different, you know, it might be a ton of fish in here. Everything is moving back and forth through here. Quick thing. There's an alligator right over there on the bank. Okay, the challenge here is what are the alligators in this area going to do? Do they have dens in here? Do they go to the deeper water? Do they go into the weedy areas? I have no idea what they're going to do. Everywhere I go, alligators do different things in different terrains, different waters. It's always a challenge. I have no idea what's going to happen right now. Yeah, I don't know how aggressive they can be either. This is totally new for me, alligators in this area. I'm in a complete different place. This time, I quickly locate the alligator, resting on the bottom. I can tell this is a very large animal. Back. Put him out there. Keep your fins out of it. It's right here, show you. Go slow. Are we ready? The alligator is moving, leaving a mud trail behind him that we can easily follow. There he is. He seems wary of us. And before I can approach him, he moves off again. I swim beside him, but as I try to lift him by the shin, he pulls away, giving us a close look at how impressive he is, before disappearing into the murky water. We just had an encounter with a massive alligator here, and he was extremely nervous, you know, moving back and forth everywhere, extremely nervous. Every time I come near him, he would just bolt this way, and mud was just coming everywhere. I mean, I don't know if he had a den in there, then he went over some really rocky bottom and took off over some more deep water over here. I think the saltwater and freshwater mixing over here where he went. I couldn't find him no more. But he was a very strongly built, heavy built, massively built animal. Very powerful built alligator. I am exploring Florida's Osceola River, and it is proving both challenging and very rewarding. We have encountered both freshwater and saltwater fish, and a massive alligator who seems very shy and anxious. And I wonder if this is typical of the alligators that live in this murky water, where saltwater and freshwater are constantly mixing. Near the shore, the forest has also come alive. We just saw a pack of wild hogs in there. This place is incredible. Not only is there all kinds of wildlife in the river, the forest right here, there's wild hogs, there's deer, there's bear. I bet one thing for sure, every once in a while, one of these wild hogs get taken by an alligator. I bet that happens out here pretty often. It seems to be a high supply of them out here. This is incredible. You got the forest over there, and then these marshes, and it's like this all the way to the Gulf. All these like grasslands out here, intertwined with tidal creeks. This is a beautiful country out here. You know, people don't think that alligators will live in a place like this. They imagine only, you know, inland freshwater lakes. They don't imagine alligators living in brackish or saltwater environments or coastal marshes like this. I spot an alligator resting on the bank, and I decide to see how approachable he is. We slip into the water and make our way slowly to the shore. But when we are only 20 yards away, he sprints into the river. I keep an eye on the alligator as it dives under. And there it is, barely visible in a murky mixture of salt and fresh water. I follow the alligator as it cruises along the bottom before heading up for a quick breath. I quickly locate the alligator again, but it wants nothing to do with me. These alligators are not behaving like the kings of this river. They are very jumpy.
I lost you because I saw him go and then I lost you.
No, you got long things, man. You should have been on top of me.
Were you holding on to him or what?
Yeah, I went with him, man. That wasn't him, but I took off right. He slipped, but I took off right after him. I trailed him. And you were 20 feet behind me.
I dive again, hoping to find the alligator, when I see something very strange. Like my eyes are playing tricks on me. I see two remoras on a huge boulder that's moving. It's a manatee! And it comes by to say hello and see what all the commotion is about. Manatees are federally protected, and I never touch them. They are curious, gentle creatures and always a joy to encounter.
Look at him come up to say hello.
The manatee gives us a good looking over. And then it disappears into the murky water.
Were you filming a remorse? Did you know that was a manatee?
I started swimming the remorse. I don't know what the heck it was. I thought it was a rock.
It's unbelievable. We're down there and we're looking around and all of a sudden there's two remoras and they're upside down like that. They look like they're on the bottom. And Quint is like, I know he's filming the remoras. And they go, Quint, and I'm like, no, it's a giant, it's a manatee. And all of a sudden it comes up like this. You know, the water's so dark, you can't tell. All of a sudden the two remoras are on the manatee. So he turns around and he faces right here. And I'm looking at his eye like that. And then Quint's over here filming. So right away we jumped in, we saw an alligator. We checked out the alligator. He was between us and the shore. The alligator exploded. Then we turn offshore and there's a manatee waiting for us right there. This is incredible, man. We just got here. 3 alligators, a manatee. It's really kicking out here. We just seen an alligator dive in the water. Right over there, he's on top of the weeds. So he went in the water, I have no idea. I'm gonna see if I can track him and find him down there. It's always a challenge to do that. Another game. I spot the alligator, a very heavy-bodied animal for a 7-footer. They are definitely eating well here. This time I try a different approach, gently lifting the alligator by the shoulders, but no way.
Saltwater. I can taste it. The surface is all fresh water, and below us is all salt water. And the salt water is warmer. Actually, the alligators are diving into the warm salt water below. That's where it is. Yeah, I tried to do a gentle shoulder lift on him. He took off with me and boom, I ran to the bottom. Then at that time he just exploded the bottom and everything. I don't know exactly what he saw or got, but it was quick. You know, I don't know where he went now.
In this section of the river here, look how high the canopy is. This is like, looks like a deep jungle. The vegetation is incredible. Some shallow water coming up ahead. You got like deep holes and shallow. It's rocky. It's very real shallow here. Real shallow. But the forest, it's rich and thick and magnificent. Look at all the mullet. So far, the alligators I've encountered, none of them went into dens. They're all going to deep holes in the river. This river has very deep holes, like 25 feet deep or deeper. But in here, definitely, I can tell you there's an alligator den right there. I can just look and know that there's a dugout in there. An alligator den can go back 20 feet in there. I mean, you can only go back so far. On some of them, I've been in there with a flashlight before and been in there. This water is so dark, though, it'll be very, very hard to see in there. There could be a gator inside that den right now. It could be a 6-foot alligator, or it could be a 12-foot monster in there right now. We have no idea. This section of the Scylla River is even more mysterious. A dark, tangled world of branches and logs. Schools of mullet swarm around us. And along the bank, spotted gar are everywhere. This is a fantastic underwater adventure. I feel like I am in an alien world. Largemouth bass are also cruising the banks. The fish life here is incredible. There's garfish everywhere, there's mullet everywhere, there's bass, there's everything, the terrain. There's caves down here, there's ledges. And on the edges you got like sunken logs, a bunch of overhanging vegetation. So the cover for the wildlife here is tremendous. And the water is also like dark, eerie, and silty down there. You know, you don't know what you're gonna find around every corner. You know, it looks beautiful up here, but down here, sometimes it looks like a nightmare. Our adventure on the Scylla River has come to an end. This strange and beautiful place will stay with me for years to come. And my encounter with a massive alligator, who surprised me with how shy he was, will be added to my knowledge of these amazing animals.
The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
This week on Savage Wild, we're in the Swanee River in search of a prehistoric monster fish. It's very mysterious and elusive, and I can't wait to meet him face to face. The Swanee River is an ancient place. Epic struggles of life and death have occurred here for thousands of years. During the Ice Age, giant beasts roamed this river and these forests. And in these waters, a giant fish from the age of dinosaurs still exists, the Gulf sturgeon. I am Manny Puig. I have spent my whole life learning to survive like Tarzan in the most dangerous and primitive wilderness, where you can be killed or eaten. I have learned the ways of giant, man-eating predators, deadly sharks and reptiles, where every encounter may spell disaster in the savage wild. This place has an ancient feel to it. Even the shoreline looks prehistoric. Every river in Florida is unique. They all have a story to tell and secrets to reveal. I have heard stories about this river and what lives here. And now I am here to see it for myself. It's late fall, early in the morning, and we are on the Swanee River. I'm very excited. I have never been on the Swanee River before. I've explored every other river in Florida, but this one. Not only is this river full of history, it's teeming with wildlife. I can't wait to get in here. There are sturgeon in here. There's bull sharks that come in here. I have no idea what I'm gonna find in this river. I can't wait to get in and start exploring. My main goal is to encounter the giant Gulf sturgeon, a fish that can reach 8 feet in length and weigh up to 500 pounds. Almost wiped out, they have started to make a comeback in the Swanee River. When you go into a place you don't know, you better have a good guide. And we have the right man, Zach Vernaka. He's my friend and he's our personal guide in this river. This man knows this part of Florida like you read about. This guy is an expert. He's the one that has told me about this place and he's gonna turn me on to what's in this area.
Manny, check this out. This is something I've got to show you. These limestone cliffs were formed 40 million years ago. And 10,000 years ago, these are the same cliffs that Paleo-Indian man would have been ambushing mammoths. In fact, along this corner, I have found the great woolly mammoth bones. They scatter and litter the river bottom here. And I know for a fact that 10,000 years ago, the early hunters were here.
So they had to, I mean, they can't just run up and get them. They had to ambush. They had to get in a right place, in a right setting, and wait for the woolly mammoth to trap them in and do their killing, right?
Correct. Think of it this way. A killing football team. These guys were organized. They knew where each man was going to be positioned. This was a teamwork effort to bring down one of those great elephants.
To me, that's fascinating. I'm really, really into that. It's amazing. If they fail enough times, they all starve to death.
That's correct.
So they had to be very, very good at what they were doing.
And as you would imagine, 10,000 years ago, there wasn't a hospital. So if you had a leg broken by one of these big elephants, that meant your life.
Okay, that's the real savage wild. I'm playing around with my animals over here, but those guys are the real savage wild. The saber-toothed cat, the woolly mammoth. I'm sure the giant alligators were here. It's late in the fall. The water's about 72 degrees and the air is about 60. So we have this fog coming up the river and it's creating these little tornadoes. I've never seen that before. Little tiny, like, little ghosts coming up out of the river and it's spinning like this, one after another. Yeah, I guess the way the air is blowing, the temperature, everything is set right to create that situation. I'd never seen that before. This is a heart pine log. This is the heart of a giant pine tree. And this has been here for 300 years, and it just recently floated up. What happens, all the outside bark has died away from it, has been removed. You can see it was axe cut. This could have been cut by the British, the Spanish, or the French, maybe 300 years ago. This land has been used by people forever, for thousands of years, by Native Americans, and then the Europeans. So what happens with time, these logs are in the bottom of the river, they'll rise to the surface. This is history right here. This is very interesting. Look at this, see? This is where it was hit. This log stirs my imagination. For 10,000 years, man has hunted in this river. First, the Ice Age hunters were here hunting woolly mammoth. Then the Indians were hunting here. Then the Europeans, all the way to the present. All this history is caught up in this river. I am exploring the ancient Swanee River. From the dinosaurs to the Ice Age, huge beasts lived and died here. The limestone formations on the shore are 40 million years old. I'm here to see with my own eyes a living fossil from the time of the dinosaurs. The giant Gulf sturgeon, a massive fish that can reach 8 feet and 500 pounds. My friend Zach Frinoka has seen hundreds of Gulf sturgeons on the Swanee, and I will take advantage of his experience. Zach, and I can see real good in the shallow water. Do they get up in the shallow water?
The sturgeon prefer deeper water. They like the deeper holes. They tend to congregate in areas where they have a little bit more water to not only swim around, but to jump. These animals, you know, I don't know if they're displaying territory, if they're just doing it for fun, but they love to have enough water to breach the surface like a dolphin.
Oh, so they need the depth to come up like that, right?
That's correct.
Do they like, what about the current?
What I've found with sturgeon is that they prefer being close to fresh spring water. So a lot of times, if there's a spring flowing out of these limestone rocks, you'll find a family of sturgeon. Manny, I know that you have a ton of experience, but when you're down here on the bottom of the Swanee River, you've got to watch your head on the logs, and you've got to look for overhanging caves and rock formations. This bottom is a karst maze of limestone boulders, old fishing nets, and great logs.
So in other words, look up before you look before you rise.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, the sun feels good. It's starting
Doesn't
to,
it? That's what I was
starting
saying.
to warm me up a little bit. It
Yeah.
was cold this morning.
Yeah, you guys are going to do just fine.
Reach in here.
Where the sturgeon's going, you're going to want to start right around here. Yeah, and just work your way up along that trough. Did you do the repair?
Yeah.
You could fix it.
We're gonna jump in down over here. Zach's seen sturgeons in here before. I have never seen a sturgeon in my life. Understand that. So I'm gonna be looking all in through here, and hopefully I'll find some sturgeons. That's one of the animals I really, really want to find. I want to investigate the shoreline. The sturgeon will be in deeper water, but the banks of this river look mysterious, and I want to see what's down there. The water is red from tannic acid. The visibility is only about 10 feet. I see a slider turtle resting against a log. As I try to catch it, it powers away, swimming as fast as it can in circles. I finally managed to get a grip on it.
Yellow-belly slider. These turtles are in every river in Florida, every river. Everywhere. It's the most common turtle out here. Florida.
continue exploring the Swanee, hoping to see a giant Gulf sturgeon. In the middle of the river, the bottom seems barren. And then I see the faint outline of a huge fish. It's a Gulf sturgeon, over 5 feet long. I managed to swim alongside of it for a few seconds before it bolts away, and I catch a glimpse of another as I surface.
So far I've seen 2 sturgeons. One of them was about this big. I got up on him, I was trying to get Quit and sandwich him across the other side. Quit, got a quick shot of him as he took off. And I just seen another one bolt over here. I'm trying to, I'm gonna keep combing this area and see if I can find them. Hopefully I find a real big one. But that's the 2 first sturgeons I've ever seen in my entire life in the wild.
I am exploring Florida's ancient Swanee River. 10,000 years ago, Ice Age man stood on these limestone formations and hurled spears at the mastodons that were waiting in the mud. I have come here to encounter a giant fish, left over from when dinosaurs roamed the earth. The giant Gulf sturgeon.
Manny, there's evidence of Florida's prehistoric past all over the Swanee River. And what I have here is half of the jaw to a juvenile mastodon. And what you see are 2 erupted teeth, meaning that these teeth were in use. You can see the chew wear here.
Yeah, definitely.
And right here where part of the bone is broken away, it's exposed an unerupted tooth that was still yet to come through the jaw. So this fossil is roughly anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 years old.
It's a shame they're extinct. Can you imagine these things roaming around the woods right now? The hunters would like it, the wildlife people would love it. It would add to the wildlife that's already here. I mean, we don't have anything this big roaming the woods out here today.
No, and it's a shame. I often dream about what these animals look like. It would be incredible to see a living mastodon today.
What's the difference between a mastodon and a mammoth?
Well, one of the easiest ways to tell the difference is in the teeth. With a mastodon like this fossil, you have these big ridges, these cusps. And with mammoth teeth, the teeth are essentially flat with shallow ridges. So the mastodon were more equipped for heavy-duty grinding of bigger, more robust plants, whereas the mammoth kind of ground their plants up. They had flat teeth. So that's the big difference. The mastodon have ridges and the mammoth teeth are flat.
And about predators preying on the mastodon.
Yep, there were a couple serious predators that especially would have fed on the young mastodon. We had the dire wolf, we had the saber cat, and of course we had different species of cats like the jaguar and the American lion. All of those would have feasted on this elephant.
Right here we have a spring flowing into the Swanee River. There's millions of gallons of water, fresh water, clean, real pure water coming right out of the aquifer, right into the river. And this river is full of spots like this, and that's what keeps the water here clean. Zach had mentioned earlier that sturgeons seem to congregate near natural springs. So I decided to investigate this area. Sturgeon don't really travel in schools. They actually hang around in groups, kind of like cattle grazing in a field. I am hoping to spot a large congregation of giant Gulf sturgeon. As the bottom looms into view, I realize Zach was right. They must like the water flowing from the springs. I spot 2 sturgeon right away and manage to get a very close look at one of them. Incredible.
saw a mark, like a little markings of them. I could see them way down in the bottom swimming under us. That's why I went down. The one was going under us at that time, I'm pretty sure. Let's look over here.
This time I will work my way into deeper water by cruising along the bottom. Sturgeon are here too. Follow one large sturgeon, trying to get below him. But he swims off into the murky water.
Man, let me tell you, I have never seen a sturgeon in my life. I've seen my full of sturgeon today. I didn't know how, I knew they were nice size, but I didn't know how big until you actually see them, how big some of these sturgeons are. They're actually this wide. And I mean, they're over 6 feet long. Some of these sturgeons are enormous. They're very spooky fish, Every fish has an approach. If you go directly above them, I can get near them, and directly underneath them. From the side, they see you well. Look at these rocky ledges up here. Imagine, go back 10,000 years. There would have been Ice Age hunters on these cliffs right here, throwing spears of mastodons. What an incredible sight. I would have liked to have been right there with them. I would have been right there with them, because I like spear hunting also. This makes me feel like I was born 10,000 years too late. I mean, I missed on a great adventure in those days. There are hundreds of thousands of dragonflies out here, up and down the river. They're feeding on mosquitoes and insects, so actually they're doing us a favor. They're wiping out the mosquito population, so we're out here, there's no mosquito biting us right now. This is an army of devastation. Look at them all. There's just like fighter jets just killing all the mosquitoes out of the air. A mini savage wild. Man, I'm out here in the Swanee. Cueta's ready in the water. I just seen a huge sturgeon from the boat just swimming by. I mean, I gotta get in there. The action's in there right now. As I move along the bottom, a sturgeon swims right up to me out of the gloom. What a prehistoric looking fish. I keep moving, and soon I spot another sturgeon in mid-water. I am going to attempt to rise up underneath it and see how close I can get. I almost touch the sturgeon before it swims away. This spot seems promising, so I dive again. At first, the only thing I see is the sandy bottom. But I keep moving and soon make out the shape of a sturgeon. This one allows a very close approach, and I can clearly see how armor-plated this fish is. These sturgeons are pretty shy. Apparently the best way to approach them is from underneath. Somehow they don't see you when you're right under their belly. They gotta be at least 3 feet off the bottom, and then you lay on your back and you swim underneath them, and then you can see their mouth and you get a view on them like this. But it's they're a spooky fish, or prehistoric fish. I mean, they look like dinosaurs too. On the next dive, I encounter a monster sturgeon, over 6 feet long and at least 200 pounds. In my book, size counts, and this one is magnificent. This is definitely a female. Males only grow to about 5 feet.
Females do not mature sexually until they are 10 to 17 years old. This one must be very old. The monster sturgeon allows me to approach closely before swimming off into the murky water.
Quentin, you got him beautiful. I know you did. I saw you perfect. That was the biggest one I've seen all day. It was this high. I seen it from the surface. I don't go, Quentin, I'm tapping on him. I'm tapping on you. I can see his fins like this. And yeah, you were right on this side. I came right above him, and then I leaned over on this side of him, man. I was trying to use my hand in front of him, so coach him towards your way. Whew, man, that was the scoots on him were that big on him. That was the biggest one I've seen all day.
I've been hearing about sturgeons and reading about sturgeons my entire life. My entire life I wanted to see a sturgeon, you know, and years ago, the sturgeons were almost extinct. It was unheard of. People hardly ever saw them, you know. They were fished almost to Never Land. And but today, it's my first, I didn't just see one sturgeon. I saw dozens of sturgeons, little ones, big ones. I got close to them. I got to see them. I got to swim underneath them. And I mean, I swam with alligators, sharks, everything. But this is a unique and special day for me. My first day on the Swanee, my first day ever in the water with a sturgeon.
The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
This week on Savage Wild, we're exploring northern Florida's Santa Fe River. On the hunt for the most dangerous turtle on the planet, the alligator snapping turtle, growing well over 200 pounds. This turtle is like a swimming bear trap. In my entire life, I have never seen an alligator snapping turtle in the wild. And I can't wait for my first encounter with this animal. I am Manny Puig. I have spent my whole life learning to survive like Tarzan in the most dangerous and primitive wilderness, where you can be killed or eaten. I have learned the ways of giant, man-eating predators, deadly sharks, and reptiles, where every encounter may spell disaster in the savage wild. Welcome to Florida's Santa Fe River. It is the southernmost range of the alligator snapping turtle. Not only is it the largest freshwater turtle in the world, it is also the most dangerous turtle in the world. Many toes and fingers have been amputated by this creature. Throughout most of its range, the alligator snapping turtle was hunted almost to extinction as a source of meat and also for its skulls and shells as novelty items. But this section of the Santa Fe River has a healthy population. It was never trapped out. And there are reports of 100-pound turtles still living in this river, which is rare because most areas have been so hunted that it's very hard to find the large old turtles. I have caught a lot of common snapping turtles, but I have never caught an alligator snapping turtle in the wild. The Santa Fe River is home to a rich variety of wildlife. And to help us locate an animal as elusive as the alligator snapping turtle, we have brought along expert guide Shadhouse. He knows this river and he knows turtles. As we gear up, I am concerned about my cameraman Quete getting bit accidentally. Be careful with any rock or any hole you stick your hands into, because we're going to be in tight spots. And danger element, the main thing is they snap at anything that's near him. So if you put your hand, it looks like a rock. You put your hand in front of his face, he's gonna bite you. Okay. So yeah, just look careful where you put your hands and what you get near. That's it. As long as you don't put your hand in the wrong place, you should be fine. And of course, you're very familiar with gators and water moccasins and other things that are found out here. this.
Right, but I do have tunnel vision. I'm looking at the camera. So
Right. No, I'll be looking
see
around.
it,
I'll be in front of you, poking around, looking around, and everything, And I mean, people think it's just alligators and cottonmouths. The only thing that can hurt you out here. No, snapping turtle can remove fingers. Sometimes if it bites you an artery, it's even possible. Potentially, it can even kill somebody.
Yeah.
So it's I don't underestimate any wild animal. Right behind you. The Santa Fe River is very murky. And along the shore are fallen trees that are perfect hiding places for the snapping turtles. But turtles are just one of the many types of aquatic life found on this river. Look at that, he grabbed onto me. Look at this. Wait, it's like a lobster. This is the biggest crayfish I've ever seen in my life. This guy, look at this. He's on steroids. Yeah, to me the crayfish is like a freshwater lobster. They're usually a lot smaller than this. This is a very large one. I mean, the claws are enormous. He bites and everything. Look at this. I mean, this is a tasty morsel of food for people or fish. Everything would love to eat this. Big bass, of course, a turtle, a snapping turtle would love to eat this. Anything. As I continue my search for the alligator snapping turtle, I can tell I have my work cut out for me. The vegetation is so dense, I can pass right by one without knowing. And the first turtle I encounter appears to be a victim. Right there. Look, it's a first turtle of the day. Yellow belly slider, super common. Man, something bit the daylights out of his shell right here. He's got a horrible scar. Look at it right there. Look at the damage on that shell. Well, it's the first turtle of the day. At least it's not what I'm looking for, but it's getting me warmed up. I can feel it in the air. Okay, I'm gonna release him. I am exploring the Santa Fe River in North Florida. Living in these murky waters, it's the largest freshwater turtle in the world, and in my opinion, the most dangerous. Finding an alligator snapping turtle in this river is going to be tough. I have never seen one in the wild before. And this makes me even more determined. One thing I can say for sure about the Santa Fe River, it is the giant crawdad capital of Florida. Every crawdad looks like a small lobster, and they seem to be everywhere. This is a good sign, because they would make a good meal for an alligator snapping turtle. This tough guy just stands his ground as I approach, then decides to make a getaway crawdad style. Every river in Florida is unique. They all have something different to offer. And the Santa Fe is slowly revealing its secrets to me. In a tangled mass of weeds, I find something interesting. A small cousin of the alligator snapping turtle.
Another species of turtle. It may not be very big, but this is a baby mud turtle. It very much resembles a snapping turtle. Look at that. Its beak right there. And it has a short tail. Very short tail. Unlike the snapping turtle has a very long tail, gator-like, alligator-like tail. This has got, the mud turtle is a little one. That's the main thing you notice, the differences. It looks like a baby snapping turtle, but it's actually a baby mud turtle.
I can see why this river has a healthy population of snapping turtles. The murky water and the tangled bottom, combined with plenty of food, are perfect for them. And it isn't long before I find another snapping turtle.
Oh, common snapper. Oh, wow. Well, it's second snapping turtle a day. It's not an alligator, but it's a common snapper. There's a lot of difference between an alligator and a common. The main thing is the common has a longer neck, the beak is a little different, and the back, the scutes in the back are not as pronounced. See, it's a smoother, flatter shell on the back of the common. And it's a more active turtle. It travels around a whole lot more and everything, while the alligator snapper is more stationary. And this is, they scavenge more. Like I said, the alligator snapper is an ambush hunter. This one travels around a lot. But you gotta be real careful because you don't want to hold them like that. Back here, because the head can come all the way back here. It's amazing. But yeah, they both have, most people see a common snapping turtle and they go, oh, it's an alligator snapper, it's an alligator snapper. They always, you know, they don't know how to tell the difference. The main thing is the distance of the neck. That's the most obvious thing. And smoother on the back. See, look at the claws on it. See right there? If I didn't have gloves on them, it'd be cutting me. My fingers would be bleeding right now because it takes its claws and it digs on me. And they are, I don't want to get anywhere near that head. Don't take any chances with it.
As I released a common snapper, you can see how good they are at swimming. Paddling along with their feet. An alligator snapper swims with his tail, with his feet trailing alongside like an alligator. So far, my search for an alligator snapping turtle in Florida's Santa Fe River has turned up lots of giant crawdads, a slider turtle with a vicious bite wound on its shell, a small mud turtle, and a common snapping turtle.
Oh, common snapper!
This river is full of wildlife, and I feel it's just a matter of time before I find the baddest turtle in the neighborhood. Using a stick to poke around in the dark pockets of the shallows, I continue my search for an alligator snapping turtle. I love exploring these rivers. They are full of surprises. One moment you're alone, and the next you have unexpected company. Two manatees are moving beneath us, and both are very large animals. Every wildlife encounter is exciting to me.
I see his face, he looked at me like this, I was right. I didn't touch him, but I was right next to him. He was gentle swimming under us. Right there. Quentin was swimming this side, the manatee was right here and I was right above him. I mean, enormous too, you know. It's not a predator, but it's a huge, magnificent animal, man. I was all of a sudden the water is murky, and all surprised there he was, right in my face. Caught me completely off guard. All of a sudden it looked like the bottom was coming up. The bottom was moving. Incredible, man. Well,
I have spotted a turtle under this pad of weeds, but it's murky and the weeds are so thick. I might lose a turtle, but as I search the edge, I suddenly spot my very first alligator snapping turtle. It's not huge, but it's the first one I've ever caught in the wild.
right there, look at it. Hey, man, look at that mouth, man. Wow. This is my first alligator snapper ever. I've never seen one in the wild. Nothing. Look at that. Look at that head. Wow. Man, he's got a super sharp beak. I'm just gonna examine this, guys. I never ever get to see this. It looks like a dinosaur. One of the main differences that I see between a common snapping turtle and the alligator snapping turtle is this is a common. I wouldn't hold it like this because his head, it's got a real long neck and his head would reach back and bite my hand. While the alligator snapper could not reach any further than this. Now, the alligator snapper grows so much bigger and his mouth is so much bigger and their hunting methods are different. If you can see right in there, there's right there, there's a little, like a little worm right there where the water's dropping, right there. This looks like a little tiny worm in there. That's his bait. It's like an angler. It'll move that, and the fish thinks it's a worm. It'll crawl in there and poof, just like you saw, and that will snap down on him. That's how. Now the common is more active, moves around more. It runs around. It's more of a scavenger. Well, this one sits there and waits in ambush his prey. It doesn't burn as much energy. That's why these turtles don't move around. They just sit there and they grow, and it takes forever to grow. Some people believe they can live to hundreds of years old.
I return the alligator snapping turtle to the bottom. He seems unfazed by the encounter, but I am thrilled. This is a first for me, and I'll remember it forever.
And let me tell you, it may not be the biggest alligator snapping turtle, but I am 100% satisfied. I'm gonna keep looking for more, but if I don't find another one, that is my first time ever with an alligator snapping turtle. So I'm not complaining. I'm 100% satisfied with that creature. I mean, it's so much easier for me to find alligators and other things, but snapping turtles are such elusive and mysterious creatures. They hide so well. They bury in the weeds and the mud and everything. And I think they're a lot more common, you know, than I would think they are, because I've been diving all my life and I don't see even common snapping turtles. I don't see that many at all. Both snapping turtles are very elusive. I see a lot of slider turtles, a lot of saustral turtles, but rarely do I even see a snapping turtle. And I've seen, you know, several common snapping turtles. I've caught plenty of those over the years, but never alligator snapper.
We explore a new section of the Santa Fe River, and the shallows are swarming with small fish. I could explore this river for days and never get bored. It seems to hold a new surprise around every bend. Like this pocket of largemouth bass. What an amazing sight. A fisherman's dream. And then, I can hardly believe my eyes. Walking along the bank, I find a big fat alligator snapping turtle.
Look at it! Look at this! Wow, man! Man, we caught him crawling. He was gonna get under this mat right here. And once he got under there, I never ever would have been able to get him. Look at this. I've never ever found such a large freshwater turtle. Look at this beautiful alligator snapping turtle. Look at the jaws on this thing. Wow. Man, this is a rare find. I see alligators down here, big garfish, all kinds of things. I never ever do I see a turtle like this. This is a prehistoric monster, man. This is the gnarliest, most ferocious turtle ever, man. See the tongue in there? That's what, you look in there real careful. That's what it lures the fish with, and it clamps on them. This animal is so secretive. It'll lay down there and hide, don't move. It rarely comes out. It buries in the mud, and it ambushes fish when they come into its mouth. It's a dinosaur, and nobody knows how long they live. This is actually a really nice sized one. Let me show. When I get here, let me show you a really good look of them, because it'll be a long time before I find another one like this. Look at the shell. Look at the way it shell is. Now, remember, the alligator snapping turtle's neck cannot reach out. You know, it can't go out here like a common snapper. It's got to be in close quarters. But that jaw, that 2 points right there, whatever it gets in that peak, it's an incredible amount of pressure it'll put in there. I just gotta be real careful. You don't want to land your finger. You can bump an alligator and sometimes get away with this. But if you bump a turtle like this, your hand goes in front of it, whatever, your foot or hand, it's gonna get crushed. This is like it's actually, I consider, extremely dangerous animal if you're poking around in the bottom of rivers where it lives. Look at the claws on it. It'll run on the bottom. Look at his eyes, man. Wow. It's heavy. Heavy. Well, we got him good. I'm gonna put him back. Wow. I mean, I really want to check him out some more. I want to enjoy every minute of this. Look at this. Look at the long tail. Yeah, it's like an alligator. It's almost like almost half alligator put inside the shell. But this is not a regular turtle. This is, to me, the most ferocious turtle in the planet. What an incredible day on the Santa Fe River. I mean, 4 types of turtles. We had mud turtle, slider turtle, common snapper, and my first ever encounter with an alligator snapping turtle. And don't forget manatees, giant crayfish, and I'll see you next week on Savage Wild.
The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
This week on Savage Wild, part 1 of my 2-part adventure, hunting wild Eurasian boar in Central Florida. From ambush to hot pursuit, I use every strategy to bring down one of these tough and dangerous beasts. These hogs have a way of spoiling the best of plans, and the unexpected can and does happen. Incredible workout. It's like running a marathon out here. I am exhausted. I am Manny Puig. I have spent my whole life learning to survive like Tarzan in the most dangerous and primitive wilderness, where you can be killed or eaten. I have learned the ways of giant, man-eating predators, deadly sharks, and reptiles, where every encounter may spell disaster in the savage wild. Welcome to Central Florida. I am on a mission. The woods around here are full of feral wild hogs, and there's a lot of Eurasian boars mixed in with them. I'm going to be hunting with a spear, the most difficult way to hunt. This spear is designed specifically for that. It is heavy. I need a heavy spear that has enough impact to penetrate the shield and the thick hide of these wild boars. This is going to be extremely dangerous. If you've been watching Savage Wild, you've seen a number of these hog hunts. Now, on every hog hunt, I never know what's going to happen. I've been attacked. I've gone hand to hand with them. I've been severely injured. I am not hunting from a tree stand. I'm hunting from the ground at hog level. These hogs are incredibly dangerous. Not only are they equipped with tusk and power and speed, the most dangerous part is how intelligent they are. That's what scares me the most, because they can set you up. Now, once a hog is hit, if he goes into palmetto, it is a nightmare. That's why I've been attacked before. He'll sit in there and wait, and hopefully he'll be dead by the time I find him. If not, he's gonna come charging, and all I have is a spear, and I gotta stop him before he gets me. All these spears I designed, I try to get as big a spear as possible, but not too big because it's got to penetrate. This is 7/8 stainless steel. This is about 7 pounds. I need the weight in order to penetrate. If the spear is too wide or too big, it doesn't penetrate enough. If it's too small, it doesn't do enough damage. It has to be the right balance. A lot of time and experimentation to get these things done. This is my main thrower. This here is a Viking spear. This here is a stopper. This is designed, you can throw it, or you can also, it's mainly used for thrusting. It'll push into the wild hog or whatever wild animal you're hunting, and it'll stop it here, and you can keep the animal off of you. It's in order to kill them and keep them from attacking you. This is a stopper. This is European style. This here is one of my knives. This is a very heavy knife. It's 3/8 of an inch thick. It's single-edged. This is all hand done. The teeth that I've carved into this knife are 3-dimensional. It's got a row on each side of its head. This is another knife. You may notice that all my knives and weapons look medieval. I have designed them after medieval style. I put my own touch to them, like I put an alligator head on this one here. Medieval weapons were decorated. The Vikings named their weapons. This is a double-edged. If you have a hog on you, this is a stopper. This will go in and go into his heart and stop him. It's a double edge, it penetrates very easily. And it's a hand guard right here, so your hand doesn't slide forward and you don't cut your hand. This looks like a Viking hatchet because I designed it after a Viking hatchet. This is very useful for chopping wood, cleaning animals, removing ribs. Always bring it with me. As we make our way to the area where we intend to hunt, the unexpected happens. I spot a large boar and decide to stalk within spear range. The wind is perfect, but a hog has another defense. I have to get past his ears. And in this brush, that will be a tough trick.
If I can see him before he takes off, I get a shot. But they lay down, and then he goes boom. They lay right there. Can't see him.
See, we pulled up with the buggy, and he was right there the whole time. We never saw him. We're talking, making noise, and all of a sudden he burst. You know, you have no idea where he's at, where he's going to be hiding. I am on the hunt for wild Eurasian boar in the dense forests of Central Florida. This area is loaded with some of the biggest and baddest hogs I have yet encountered. But this will be no easy walk in the park. These hogs are smart, fast, and tough. I have my work cut out for me. And if plan A fails, there's always plan B. I'm feeling it. Look at the amount of damage these feral hogs have done here. The Spanish brought them out here 500 years ago as a source of food, but they've become a nightmare to agriculture and to wilderness. They cost taxpayers $200 million a year worth of damage to restore the land they destroy. Feral hogs, I love to hunt them. They're awesome, but they're a nightmare to the general population, the amount of damage they cause. The only real enemies they got is mountain lions, bears, and alligators, but they don't kill enough to really impact the population that much. They depend mostly on hunters. The main way to hunt hogs is with dogs. That is the most effective way, and that's the way a lot of the hunters try to control their population. Apart from all the damage these wild hogs do out here, I personally like to hunt them. I enjoy hunting them with a spear. It's a very challenging and difficult way to hunt, but that's what I like. We also give hog meat to many needy families in the area. They're good to eat. I eat them myself. So I try to make the best out of a bad situation. So I'm helping out both by eliminating hogs and feeding people that are hungry, including myself. It's early in the day and the hogs are bedded down. My first strategy is an ambush. I will need to find a perfect spot before they begin moving again in the late afternoon as they search for food.
I'm gonna try to find a good ambush spot. I can either stock up, but if I can stay still, he won't hear me coming and wait for him on one of their trails, I might have a chance at one of them. So I gotta try to predict where they're gonna come through. If you step on a twig, they hear you. If you get in the right wind direction, they'll smell you. So if I can wait for an ambush, it's better.
This spot feels good and the wind is right. And this tree is close to a hog trail that seems to have heavy traffic. As long as the hogs come from the right direction, I'll get my chance. I use palmetto leaves to create a blind. Now, it's a matter of waiting and luck. Hours later, the sun begins to sink lower, and still no sign of hogs. The breeze has dropped off. This is not good. I checked the wind. It's still blowing in the right direction, but barely. But this is the plan and I stick with it. The first hog, a medium-sized brown boar, appears in the clearing just 50 yards from where I'm standing. Then I spot a solid black hog in the thick bushes to my left. My spirits are lifted. I may have chosen the perfect spot. Hopefully one of them will follow the trail right to my ambush. I stand by, spear in hand, as the brown hog moves closer. But as the sun begins to set, I am still waiting, as the hogs feed only yards away from me. As darkness begins to fall, I can make out at least 5 hogs less than 30 yards away. But I'm rapidly losing my light. Soon it's just too dark to see the hogs. I have to change plans. My hopes of ambushing a hog did not pan out. The breeze stopped blowing, and they may have caught my scent. Or they simply just wandered off without passing my hideout. But I did not come here with just one plan. When darkness falls, this forest comes alive. It's time for Plan B. In the deep forest of Central Florida, I am on a hunt for Eurasian wild boar. I have spent the day setting up an ambush. My spot was well chosen. And by late afternoon, wild hogs were coming close, but not within spear range. As darkness fell, my plan failed to produce. It's time for Plan B. I've been stalking hogs all day long with the spear. I have not been able to get close. Night has fallen. Now it's time to get the dogs out. We're gonna track them with dogs at night. And this is eerie because this is the time when the hogs come out. But the dogs are gonna go deep into the palmettos and all that. And I have to go in there and grab them. That's what we're gonna do. We rendezvous with our dog handler, who has decided to bring 2 pit bulls. These are catch dogs that will grab and hold the hog once they find him. They seem excited and happy. But as the handler begins to load him onto the swamp buggy, Murphy's Law rears its ugly head. One dog bites the other, and they break into a frenzy.
No. Hey.
As the handler tries to break them up, he is severely bitten on the wrist. They separate the dogs, but this is not a good way to start the night.
Okay.
The 2 pit bulls got in a fight. Sometimes pit bulls do that, and the handler got bitten the wrist. But one of them, I guess they get fired up. They were, sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't.
Just bulldogs. They in the pen. They sisters. They're about 4 years old. They lived together all their life, and now they're starting to come in heat more and more. They're, like I said, between 3 and 4, and just bulldogs. Just need to get some of the bull out of them and get some more curve to them. Have something a little better to bait and catch. They're good catch dogs. They lock on and they hold, but they, just like they do to each other. I mean, you see, they do it to the hand that feeds you.
The other dog bit the owner, so we're gonna put the other dog up. So we're down to 1 dog, but this dog will do the job. These dogs are brave, powerful, and they go for it. That's a bad way to start a night. It didn't get any tendons or nothing, huh?
No, sir. I don't believe I did.
You move your hand good?
Yes, sir. I can move everything good.
Well, Manny, we had a little altercation with the dogs. We were going to use 2 catch dogs. The reason we're not using a bay dog is because we've got a pile of hogs in here, and with just a catch dog is all we need. The other dog, when bulldogs don't get along, they start fighting. That can happen. They're not going to get along all night. When we're on the ground, I guess you're going to go in there and leg the hog. Cameramen we just stay back, and once that hog is secured, I guess the cameras can come in and get whatever angle you guys want.
When you leg the hog, I'll get the dog off, and it should. The first one may be hard. She got a lot of anger in her, so after that, the second one may be a little easier to get her off.
We may catch some of the hogs alive.
We made a break stick.
We may catch some of the hogs alive. If it's a good hog, a good eating hog, we may kill them to take them home to eat. So we're gonna check them out. If it's a big boar, we may not kill it. But if it's a medium hog, a good meat hog, we're probably gonna take them.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Notice that these dogs have a Kevlar vest on them. That's to protect them from the hogs. If not, they're gonna get cut left and right. But these catch dogs go directly right to the hog. They grab them by the ear, and the hog's gonna try to stab them. So the best protection you can put is a Kevlar vest on them. These dogs are brave, and they take on hogs that are 3 times their size sometimes.
I figured these two being sisters, long life partners, you know, they would be friends. And
The thing is,
about 3 months ago, they just started this. I had to split them up, and now they just. Last time I brought them out here, they was fine. They got home, they wanted to fight a little bit. They went in the pen, they had a good night, you know.
Catching wild hogs has been going on for hundreds of years with dogs and everything, you know. Many different methods. They use dogs to round them up to shoot them, to catch them alive, to spear, you know, transport them. Sometimes they catch them, fatten them up, they save them up, and they kill them and eat them later. There's many different things they do with them. To tell the truth, I don't like spiders. I don't want to walk into that. I don't want that thing crawling on my head. Nothing to do with that. I'd rather mess with a hog. This has been a very long and frustrating day. After spending hours trying to ambush a hog, we decided to hunt the forest at night with dogs, only to have the handler severely bitten on the wrist. And now we're down to 1 dog. This will not improve my odds of taking a hog. Nothing is guaranteed on these hunts, and you take the good with the bad. So we head off into the night and the savage wild. I am deep in the wilderness of Central Florida, on the hunt for Eurasian wild boar. I spent the day lying in ambush, hoping a wild boar would come within spear range. As darkness fell, we made a decision to bring out the dogs, only to have the handler badly bitten by his own catch dog. Now down to 1 dog, we head out into the night, hoping our luck improves. Here she comes. We just got to follow the dog around and watch him. He's smelling around, crawling around, smelling and trying to pick up a trail. And once he's on a trail, then he'll start running. And once, you know, something happened, you'll hear the fight going on. I was in that swamp not too long ago, and I would take a step, and the hogs would take a step. They were like 20 feet in front of me. I couldn't see them because the sawgrass is like 10 feet high in there. But it's wet in there, and they just go up in there and lay in there. And if you walk in there, eventually you will push them. But that's a fortress. They're very, very secure in there. It's very hard to get to them in there. Our single dog seems to be having a good time, but so far hasn't picked up the scent of a hog. We know there are hogs all around us, so hopefully it's just a matter of time. I'll throw it one comes by.
You can only catch 1. There's a whole pile of hogs in this area, so I'll be aware that there's going to be maybe a dozen other hogs running around.
Yeah, some people have been catching a dog and being attacked by another hog while they're catching one. That's happened before, so you got to keep your eyes open for all this. As the night wears on, I begin to have doubts. We have walked for miles, and the dog has still not caught the scent of any wild hogs. We are all thirsty and tired, and the dog is overheated. So we take a break while the dog cools off. It's good to have 2 dogs sometimes because they can teamwork a hog. Sometimes these hogs go in a palmetto, they feel secure to hold their ground, especially the boars, the males, and they sit there and they just fight anything that comes near them. And at that moment, that hog is very dangerous, very ferocious. He's cornered and he's ready to attack dogs, men, anything. So you really got to know what you're doing at that moment. Although the dogs started the night off fighting with each other, to improve our odds, we decided to take a chance and see if they will now work together. But it's now past 2 a.m. and we are all physically exhausted. This long day is about to end with no wild boar. Next week on Savage Wild, we pull out all the stops and bring out the A-team. Frankie Nixon and his crew are professional hog hunters, using bait and catch dogs and GPS tracking collars. Our odds for success are about to improve dramatically.
Get up there, man. Go.
Hey, Outdoor Channel, this is Savage Wild, and I ain't lying.